Before we start, please take into account that Arkenforge is a very robust piece of software. The way I use it is in no circumstances the only way to do it. It is far more flexible and allows various techniques to achieve the same goal. Also, in these short clips, I focus on the map-making part of Arkenforge, but it is far more advanced with its own soundscape and encyclopedia models, and many more. I encourage you to experiment with the software yourself as much as you can. Hey, this is Timur Sol again. In the last video, I showed you the new feature that is the tile noise option that Arkenforge provides us. In this video today, I wanted to show you a different option for blending, the one that I called old blending option. It's also very useful, although, as mentioned, nowadays I use it more rarely than earlier. I don't find it as useful as I had, and I'm going to tell you why and show you why, although it's up to you to decide which tool you would rather use. Now, let's say we have a background like this. This is foliage ground 3. I believe is the same one I used in the previous video also. Let's say we also have an object somewhere over here. Now, this is going to be probably a bit absurd. Let's take animal hide, so it's visibly distinguishable over here. Now, the old method that I usually used before the new version of Arkenforge came out was this. I would go into having this foliage ground selected. I would go into my tiled and brush settings, and in the brush settings I would choose, this is important that you choose soft brush. You can go with the width as high as you want. Don't change the opacity. You want to see what you're doing. We're going to change that in a minute. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm roughly estimating where the edges of this tiger rug, I believe, is, and I'm smearing it roughly around it and the places where I want to blend it. You don't see it right now, right? But if you either push this into the terrain layer like this, and now I'm going to push it also one layer down. You see what happened? It's below the layer of the brush that I used before a second. Now I'm going to pull it over here so you see it exactly what happened. The tiger rug is simply below this layer of brush that I used. Now, this isn't the perfect method because of two reasons. First, the tiger rug isn't exactly something that should be below the grid that you have. You could obviously turn the grid off. I mean, that's something that obviously would work. You could also pick the brushed foliage, pick the tiger rug, and move both to the object layer. Again, this is not perfect. The brush that we have over here right now, well, it's sadly above the grid, and we don't also want that. But if you're fine with that, you can stay with it. And what I would recommend, if you do that, I would recommend you to go to your image manipulation tools. Sorry, not here. Where is it? Well, I have it on a hotkey. Why I'm searching? You would go to your adjust opacity, and you would go really low, like 9, 10, maybe 12. What this does is it doesn't cover the grid exactly and perfectly. Let's make it a 9. It doesn't cover the grid exactly. You can still see it over here and here. It's roughly visible. So you have this illusion that it's still on the ground, it's still lower, and it kind of crawls onto the object that is above the grid level. Now, this takes time, and this takes a lot of work to create. Actually, I like this method for smaller things, for things when you can just, you know, put things under other stuff and make it slightly less visible. Although I wouldn't use it normally right now. I use it for roads, for paths, for stuff like that, but I don't use it for terrain layers anymore.